Hey, good morning. Welcome to Trading with Goals. I hope you guys had a wonderful night. We are going to start. So we're going to, before we look at retail, we're going to look at stocks, some of the tech stocks yesterday that created either the second lower low or the third lower low, or they have two lower lows and an inside bar. So the first one, and we had talked about Netflix yesterday, it tried to bounce off yesterday, and that's why we have an inside bar. So we had looked at it yesterday. It had two lower lows. So I'd said we look at it, either it's going to create a third lower low or it's going to create an inside bar. And that's what it did. It created an inside bar. So please, all these stocks, you're treating them as scalping until, because some of them, if you're holding puts, then you wake up, they've gone up, and then you can't say, okay, I'm holding calls, and then when you wake up, it is gone to create the third lower low. So until you have confirmation, because this is a pullback, and we know pullback can last 3 to 6 days. So the good time to trade with confidence is when a stock makes a decision. So this was when the stock made a decision on Friday, when it breaks out of this consolidation. So the second day is usually the best to trade after a stock has made a decision, which most stocks did on Friday and broke this, the 485 support. So when that happens, the next day is the best to catch those moves. After that, you can either get an inside bar, and this is what you are seeing. Mostly when you get a decision. So we got a decision on Friday, it broke support. So here, this is where you can swing, or you can even trade the following day and get a good move on the second lower low. After that is usually just a gamble, because this stock the next candle can be an inside bar, or it can go on to create the third lower low. So this is the best day. If you're looking at the daily chart, you want to find the best day to trade a pullback, whether it's a bearish pullback or a bullish pullback. It's the day after the decision. So you want a decision, the decision was made. The next day is the best day to trade. So if it's a bearish pullback, to trade puts, it can be a whole day or holding puts. But the following, usually after the two lower lows, it can be followed by an inside bar. Okay, so please, when you just want that one candle that makes a decision, especially for pullback, because pullback, we know it's about 3 to 6 days. Like here, this last time, so this was the consolidation. Then this candle made a decision. The next day was the best day to trade puts. If you look after, we had almost created a lower high, but almost a double bottom, then another lower high, then it broke the support, then you have an inside day. Now you see, after the second day, it's usually doesn't give you the same kind of movement, because you're only expecting 3 days of 3 days of pullback or 6 days. And in those days, the best day is either the first day where you get the decision, then the second day. After that, it's a gamble. It's trying to create inside bars, it's trying to go back up. So please take note of that. After a decision, that's your best day to trade. So now for Netflix, we got an inside bar. Now, after an inside bar, we've seen these scenarios before. It's either, it will mean, because the inside bar, it created a higher low and a lower high. So it still didn't go to retest Tuesday high. So we go to a lower time frame. So this was the high on Friday. So it started at 492, went to 481, then 487. When it opened here, it was 485 on Tuesday. So it dropped to 461. So this was the best day to trade the puts. It was 20 points dropping. Now, the next day, we created a higher low. That's how you create an inside bar. It is a higher low and a lower high. So here we got 464 and 475 if anyone scalped Netflix. Now, here is not the day you're saying I'm holding my calls because that's an inside bar. The next day, you can get this candle making a decision because this is as a constriction. So it made a range here and then a constriction. Every time you see a stock doing this, it makes a range and then a constriction, something has to happen the next day. So it's either gonna break this support 461 to go and create the third lower low, because we know a pullback, 1 to 3 pullback, it should create 3 lower lows. So it's either gonna break this support to create a third lower low, or it has decided I'm done, pulling back, this is it, this is all you get, and opens at a higher low and goes on to break this previous lower high level or previous high level. So those are the two scenarios. Whenever you have a range and then a constriction, it means something is going to happen. It's either going to create the third lower low, or it is going to say, I'm done, pulling back, I'm going back up. Okay, so any stocks that you guys are looking at today that made 2 lower lows and an inside bar should be on top of your watch, because you create ranges and then you have a constriction. We've seen this before. We saw it with MSTR last week. It went up and then constriction and then it broke out. So now this is what you're looking at. Any stock that has an inside bar should be on top of your watch. So Netflix is one of them. Most among the tech stocks. And then
Good morning.
Good morning. And then Meta. Meta. So if anyone else can see this, if you're looking at the daily chart and you're seeing this, those are the stocks to put on top of your watch. So we had the first lower low, the second lower low, and then an inside bar. Okay, it's a constriction. Anytime you have a constriction, you either gonna get.
I'm just taking up space right this second.
You're either gonna get this stock creating a third lower low. So these are the two levels you're watching for. It's either gonna break 340 to create a third lower low, or it's gonna break above 356 to go high. Okay, so these are the two examples. You have the first lower low, the second lower low, and then an inside bar. So yesterday I still had Meta on top of my watch. So Meta and Netflix are on top of my watch. So now you guys need to look at any other stock that did the same thing. Okay. So I've only looked at those two. So find any other two. Now, these other ones, they've created, like Crowd has first lower low, second lower low, third lower low. I hope you guys can see the difference. That was an inside bar, and this one broke support to create a new support. Okay. I don't know if the semiconductors, anyone has looked at them. Okay. So this one barely broke support. So this one has first lower low, second lower low, and then a third lower low. So these were good stocks to scalp yesterday. Okay, not a lot of points, but they were good scalping opportunities, not a lot because they had already made this range on the first candle. So you want the next day after decision. That's the best day to trade. After a decision is made, this is the best day to trade. The next one, you're not going to get the same range, not unless this stocks is saying, okay, no, now I'm going to be doing those pulling back 6 days, or it's a reversal. Now it's going down. It's going to 9 days. But those first 3 days, if you want to catch the best move, it's the second day after the first candle that makes a decision. Okay. Now, these two stocks, three actually, MDB, these are some, this is one of the best stocks that makes ranges. Even when it's consolidating, it still makes some good ranges. It's a stock you can trade it up and make good money, and then trade it down the same time and still make good money out of it. So the first candle, whenever you get a decision, you can swing for the next candle. So this, they only have two. So we have the first lower low and the second lower low. Okay. You see how, so when you have a candle that makes a decision, like here, if you want to know you're holding, this was Friday. It broke this support. So it made a decision from 421. It broke supports here to 410. So that's a decision. If a stock has made a decision, you can hold. So if you're holding, you would have held this for this move. And this was the first candle. After decision, the second day, you get a better move. But the next days, you might not get the same kind of movement. Okay. So MDB, so it only has two lower lows. So such stocks, you either gonna get a third one or an inside bar. If it's an inside bar, it can be a scalping opportunity like Netflix was yesterday, and also ADB. Okay, so ADB, we had this consolidation, and then this made the decision, and then the second candle. So if we look on Tuesday, so we had this consolidation. On Friday, it didn't do much. And like some other stocks, ADB on Friday, so this is Friday, it had a double bottom. So it hit 600. The last date was 599, 593, then had a double bottom, 592, then 600. So on Friday, it didn't make a decision. It made a decision on Tuesday. So if it's making a decision here, you're holding your put, so you can leave a runner. And that's why we got this move. And then we had continuation. It went from, it broke 576 to 570. Okay, so we want to see today, is it going to make the third lower low? So I'm not going to look at all. I wanted to show you guys an example of those that have created 3 lower lows. So for those that have created 3 lower lows like Crowd, we know as a pullback can last 3 to 6 days. So we want to see today, will it create another lower low, the fourth one, or will it be an inside bar, or will it decide I'm done pulling back, I want to go back up? Because it has already made 3 lower lows. Then we have the Netflix and Meta that had 2 lower lows and an inside bar, a constriction. So those two, you put them at the top, because after a stock makes a range and then, excuse me, it constricts. So when a stock makes a range and then it constricts, it's telling you something is going to happen. It's either going to continue down or it will say, I want to go back up. So Meta and Netflix are on top of your watch. But the other ones like this ADB, MDB, they only have 2 lower lows. So today is the 3rd day. We want to see what happens. Is it going to create a 3rd lower low, or is it going to create, and I think MDB will, because it is down like 7 points. So we have ADB, MDB, and now hi. Why are you up so early? Okay, so we have now that has barely broke support. So we had the first lower low. This first candle made a decision. And then we have this one barely making almost a double bottom. Okay, so 675. And then this one went to 674. So those ones that have 2, you're looking at them because you want to see what do they do for the 3rd one. No problem. Why are you waking them up? Do you want them to do analysis?
They are actually supposed to be on their way to school and I can't find my car keys.
Oh, you guys are, oh, their schools are open hours until next week.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, she's so happy in the morning. Okay, so now MDB and ADB, you want to see what they're gonna do for the 3rd day, because this one barely. So made 2 lower lows, but it looks like a double bottom. So it's you want to see what happens today. So these 675, 674 is like a double bottom. If it decides that's the end, then it might go back up, or we're gonna create a 3rd lower low. So any stocks you guys are looking at, the ones that have an inside, 2 lower lows and inside bar, put them at the top. Netflix, Meta. Then we have those that have 2 lower lows. They can make a 3rd lower low, or they can say, okay, they're doing 2 days. I want to go back up. Then we have those that have already made 3 lower lows, and others are even more than that. Okay. So that's for tech stocks I wanted to mention. Whenever we are having pullback, please remember the 2nd day after us, the first day that makes a decision, don't miss trading that 2nd day, or you can swing on that 2nd day because you get the best move on that day. After that is usually just a struggle inside bars, or not making the same range compared to the first and the 2nd day. Okay, so that's for tech stocks. Now, course. So we had that strategy for cost. It was supposed to be pullback before earnings. It was running up, and then we only had 1 day of pullback, very shallow pullback. Like here, this was we were going up. After these 3 days of pullback, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then on the 10th day, it was the day it was reporting earnings. It had a shallow pullback. Then it went on 11, 12, 13. Now, always on the multiple of 10, if you get such a range, always take profit, because on the following day, it's not a guarantee it's going to continue up. Every time a multiple of 3, always be securing profit, because you're either going to get a pullback the next day, or usually a pullback happens on that multiple of 3. So we hit this 681, and the next day almost creating a double top, and it was like an inside bar. You could barely see, but it was an inside bar. Then we followed by this day, 2 days of indecision, then went up, created a lower high. So this one has been pulling back day 1, then an inside bar. Now, this is an example. When you create a first lower low, then an inside bar, it's indecision, it's constriction. The next day, it decided, okay, I'm going to create the 2nd lower low, the 3rd lower low, and the fourth lower low. So coast is an example of what we can anticipate if this bearish pullback continues for those stocks that have hit 3 lower lows, or for those stocks that have hit 2 lower lows and an inside bar. So this is what you're looking at. The first lower low, an inside bar, another lower low, a third lower low, and the fourth lower low. So this can go on for 6 days because it broke the 3 days. A pullback can last 3 to 6 days. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So for 5 days, coast has been pulling back. Now, if you see a stock as breaking into the 3rd day, there you can hold the puts. If you go to a lower time frame, now you have to buy time because a stock, the candle, you have to understand how the daily candle works. It opens, so after the first one, it's a lower high, lower low. Then this was an inside bar. It was a higher low and a lower high. Then this one is a lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So if you don't want to be caught with this pullback where it goes up slightly to create a lower high, buy time. Now, if you see a stock is gone on for more than the 3rd day, you can buy time so that your contracts are not affected by these shallow moves. Like here, it went from 645 to 655, then it continued down. I want to see when it created that inside bar. So the inside bar was on Thursday last week. So we had the first candle that made a decision, then an inside bar. What we are seeing with Meta and Netflix. We had a decision and then an inside bar. So this was on Thursday. So that's the day it made an inside bar. And then on Friday, you see it continued down. Then we had a shallow pullback. Then it continued to break 656, 57 to 652, 1, and then went on to 645, had this shallow pullback, then went on to break this support to 642. Okay? So when you're having if you're not worried, sometimes the weekly, you might see your profits are going down. If you're trading weeklies, this is the opportunity you're getting some discount with this shallow pullback. But when you buy time, you're not worried about this. So we're seeing from when it made a decision after the inside bar. So this is the first day it made a decision. And then we had an inside bar, and then we had continuation. So if you're buying on Friday, you'll be getting your puts. You're buying maybe this week expiry, or you're also buying another week so that you have time and you're not bothered by these shallow pullbacks. So from 663, you would have held all the way yesterday to 642. Okay, so these are the different scenarios when you're trading the pullback. After an inside bar, mostly you get movement confirming. Here it's a constriction because it's also like an indecision. They don't know if they want this stock to go lower. Then they decided it's gonna go lower. After that, you can have your confirmation and you can buy time. Okay, so cost, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. So today is day 6. Sometimes day 6, we might have a double bottom. If we have a double bottom, then we might look at it going back up, or it can keep going on. If it's going on into day 6, then means this is no longer a pullback. It can go all the way to day 9. Now we are looking at this support from ER when it reported earnings on the 14th. So that pullback support, it went to 619. So if we keep going down, if it keeps dropping, then we are looking at it going back to 614. And where did it come from? We came from 582. So we have 599. You guys remember when it had a hard time breaking 600. So if it breaks this 619, then we have 600, and then we have this 582. Okay, so if this movement continues down, so today is day 6, we want to see if it will continue down, then it means you're looking at it going on into day 7, day 8, day 9. Okay, low. Okay, so it had consolidation. The first candle, the one that makes a decision, you can swing because it has made a decision. It wants to go down. The decision is breaking either below this range or breaking above the range. So it breaks above the range, you're taking calls. If it's breaking below the range, you're taking puts. This is the best day to trade. After the decision, you can hold runners or you can swing because it has made a decision. I want to go down. Okay. So it made a decision here. Always look at the previous support from, the range support and the range resistance. The day it is breaking below that range, you're getting puts, you're holding into the next day, because that's when you get the best move. So from this 222, it dropped to 212, 212. So about 10 points. And you see this, you woke up, it was down this number of points. So you're not buying contracts expensive. Always look at the decision. You want the first candle that makes a decision, guys. That's all you need, the first candle that makes a decision. Okay, so this only has 2 lower lows. So we had this indecision, then the first candle that made the decision, we have the first lower low, the second lower low. So still it can go on to make the third lower low, meaning it's gonna break these 212 to go lower, or it creates an inside bar. Okay, so catching these moves, this is the best time to catch the move. Otherwise, after that, it's not a guarantee, not unless you see something going on like coast for 6 days. But the third day, you're either having an inside bar or it will continue down to break this to go even lower. I know many people have a hard time trading a bearish trend. But if you catch this first day, you wanna any stock that was consolidating, and we were looking at this consolidation the whole of last week. On Friday, when that decision was made, it is when you're gonna get puts and hold. This second day is the best day. And then after that, it can be an inside bar or it can be a continuation to break this support. Okay, so even on when here, like here, it was going up post ER, we had this indecision, the first candle made a decision. This is the best day to trade. Now you see the third day inside bar, and then the next day it went almost making a double top, then another inside bar, then indecision. The first candle that make a decision, this was the candle that make the decision after consolidation. The next one is your entry. Or if you see a decision you're holding, you can swing. Okay, so we went on. After the decision is made, you see the range went up. After that, it's creating a higher low and barely breaking. Barely. Then the next time indecision, and then the first candle decides, then you have a good range. So please note, any stock that is consolidating, you want to catch after the decision, the second candle. Those 2 days are the key days to make money out of it, to maximize on it. But the rest of the time, it's just, and not unless it's a strong trend, we're going for 9 days, 12 days. But this time it's a pullback. it is taking you like that for up to 6 days, unless it makes its mind is going on for 9 days. But a pullback is just a slight deviation from the trend. So you want the day it makes a decision, you're holding. I hope this is clear, because you want to get this move. Otherwise, you guys will be trying to find plays and nothing is happening because you missed this move. Then the rest of the time, making very small ranges or an inside bar, and then you're getting frustrated. You have your puts and then it's going back up, and then, but this is the best time to catch these moves. You can go way back and you see the same thing. You want the first candle that makes a decision. So here we had it just trending down. It was bearish. We had this shallow pullback. We had the first lower low, the second lower low, then indecision, inside bars constriction, then finally this made a decision. You're holding. So here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then on day 7, every time after the multiple of 6, or 3, or the day it makes a multiple of 3, you're taking profits, because the next day, this is what happened. It went up and then it continued down. Okay. So always know a strong trend which is going down, but the first time we are doing a pullback, we are not yet have a confirmation this stock wants to, it's just a pullback. Those 6 days is just a pullback, or it wants to go back up. Okay. TGT just made its first lower low. Okay. And we had looked at TGT, I don't know when, I'd said, look at this dwarfy. Anytime you're seeing this stock was making ranges when it reported earnings, and it's just barely making, it's going up, but barely making. We had this range, we had this pullback, then it continued up, broke out of this, the first candle, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, hit the top, the first. Always when you're seeing this, the upthrust, those people who've done trading, we've talked about a strong trend. When the upthrust is getting shorter and shorter, it means that strength is becoming weaker. It's approaching the top. It's not making this kind of upthrust from the swing low to the high, from the swing low to the high. It's not making the same kind of range. It means that's bullish trend, or if it's a bearish trend, is getting weaker. You're approaching the top. The same thing we looked at GS yesterday. Okay. So those are one of the best. So this one has only one lower low. Okay. So it broke this. So it has made a decision. 141, 138. It made a decision. We want to see the second day. Is it going to make the second lower low? So it means it's going to break this 138 to go lower. So we have this support 136. It's not a big ATR stock, so don't expect the same number of points. So 136, and this, it filled this gap from 105. Then we have this high 133. So we have 136, 133. So this is a good one to look at if it's gonna create a second lower low. Okay, it only has one, unlike the other ones. Now, DLTR, the same thing, almost the same thing, because they were moving, they were trending up, they were going up. So we had this consolidation, the first candle that made a decision, the second one went up, then inside bar, then this made the two inside bars. So this is where I talk about these stocks are the ones to watch. After the first inside bar and the second inside bar, you expect a breakout because it was bullish. It already made a decision. So you're waiting for the first candle, the first inside bar, and then another inside bar, then a breakout. So after this consolidation, we had a decision. So a decision is made. It's going up. That's not changing. But you will see a stock So this second day was the best to trade. And then we had an inside bar, another inside bar. Then we're going up. So these are the same thing you're looking at Netflix and Meta. It had the first inside bar. It can make a second inside bar, but a decision was made. It was going down. So if we have those scenario the same as this, then you're expecting a continuation of the bearish trend. But this is, I hope you guys are taking note of this, because the same thing, we had MSTR, the same thing. The first inside bar, it can make two inside bars or one inside bar. If you're seeing the first inside bar, the second inside bar, what was the decision? You're going by the decision. The decision was made here, it's going up. After this, you can get a couple of days trending up, or it can be just one day and then it pulled back, depending on the strength of the stock. So these had reported earnings. We know this was beaten down. It had come from 154. Okay. So after those two inside bars, we got this trend going on. So we had this, the 1, 2, 3, 4, and we will always see the inside bar or indecision always falls on either a multiple of 3 or the next day after the multiple of 3. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So on the multiple of 3, it created an inside bar, and then it went on to break, but this was day 13. If it's not going lower the next day, you're expecting a pullback. And that's what happened with DLTR yesterday. So you're all counting these days and seeing if this stock has created a lower high. It did, because it was supposed to go to 154. It hit 145. So this 142, then 145, then it decided pulling back. So we got our first lower low yesterday, and I'd mentioned these stocks yesterday. So this was a good trade yesterday. Not a lot of points, but it was good for puts. So we came from 132. So we want to see if it's going to break that 132 to go even lower, because it only has one lower low. So TGT only one, DLTR only one, DG the same thing, only one. Okay. So the reason we are looking at them, those stocks, they were not consolidating. They were going up. So we only got our first lower low for the pullback. So we want to see today is day 2, if we're going to get a second lower low or a third lower low, or it's going to say, okay, it was only one day, like here. So here it made a decision. This was consolidation. It made a decision. Please, guys, when you're looking at this, the first day it makes a decision, that's the trend you're going with. Even if you get two inside bars, it is already made a decision. I want to go up. So here it was consolidating. This candle made a decision. The second day you see the range. Then you had it broke, went pull back, and then another pullback, but it had already made a decision. 2 days. Give it 2 days. Then it continued up. Okay. Indecision here, made a decision, continued up, another indecision, made a decision, continue up. So every stock that is consolidating, what is the decision when it breaks out of that range? Does it break out, or does it break down from the range? When that decision is made, you're going by that. Okay. An example that I said LMT made a decision, you're seeing here. So it's been consolidating ever since we've been looking at LMT the whole of November. Then here, this candle barely broke so if you go by the lowest of the range and the highest of the range, So this candle broke, almost looking like it made a decision. That the next day, that's why I say the second day is important, because you're getting a big range out of it on the second day. And then we have another day, few days of indecision. You want again for a decision to be made. The decision was made here, the 22nd. A decision was made. It broke out of this range. Give it 2 days. You have this day, inside bar. It made a decision going up. I hope that is clear. You want that first candle that makes a decision. After it has made a decision, give it 2 days. If it creates an inside bar day 1, another inside bar day 2, it is already made up its mind. It is going up. Okay? That's the decision you go by. Okay? Now, I'm going to look at Lulu and Alta. They're also retail. So Alta had said you guys to look at it yesterday because it had a double top. Now, I hope, Leroy, you are trading it up. You also trade it down. You don't just leave it there. Okay, so this one here, we had 1, 2, 3 days of indecision, made a decision, then it continued 3 days, and then an inside bar. So first lower low, second lower low, third lower low, and then an inside bar. Constriction, telling you, look at me. I've already done 3 lower lows and inside bar. Look at me. So it went up, but barely, did not even retest this. So it came from 497. These 2 days, when you guys were trading calls, it refused to touch that 493. 491, 492. This is a double top. Okay. So this is a lower high because it didn't go to 493. That was our key level, but it also didn't go to 497, the previous high level. So it's the first lower high, then another lower high, telling you I want to go down. And then it broke support. This one. Made a decision here. Double top. Get puts. Yesterday was trending down the whole day from 486 to 473. Was down almost over 12 points. Okay. Double top, double bottom. Whoever makes a decision. If you're seeing look at these ranges post year. Range. When you see the range is getting, so here we had 2 days of pullback, went up, barely did a double. This was a double top. Then indecision came down. Even the day it was making indecision, it was still creating, this was like a triple top, came down. Then an inside bar went up, but still rejected 497, and it rejected 493, our key level. The first day, so a stock will attempt 3 times. It attempted here, failed, came down. So now we have a first lower low, but it has not, this is the previous support from 22nd. So 469, it's at 473. So if we want to see if it's going to create a second lower low and go to 469. If it breaks this is where it came from. So from 469 went to 491, 492, double top. So don't take, I mean, if you're riding it up and you're seeing it has failed to break these 2 days, you're riding it back down. That's a play. You rode it up, ride it back down. Double top, lower high, puts. Edith and Leroy, you are trading Alta going up. I don't know if you traded it going down. It's very easy plays. Okay. So now it only has one lower low. So we still have, it didn't go to 497. okay? First lower low, we want to see if it's going to create a second lower low, if it's going to break this 469. If it decides it's not breaking 469, then it means it wants to go back up. This was a post-year move, okay? Lulu broke 500. So a stock making ranges, you had 2 days, shallow pullback. This one broke this range, barely, indecision, and then made a decision. You want that first candle that makes a decision. The second day, you don't want to miss trading. Okay? It didn't do so much, I mean, compared to the ATR, but it went down 7 points. So that's a good play. You want that decision. This one, it was a double bottom, but it went to this. It was telling you I want to go down. The next day, you don't want to miss that day, or you can hold puts. After a decision is made, you can swing. Those people who want to swing, you want to swing something that has a decision. Okay, so this was Friday, 5/16. It broke support pre-market on Tuesday, made a decision. So here you would have swing a put from 508 to 497, 496. Okay, it's even going lower, 493. That decision, when it's made, go by it, please. Okay, so it broke 500. Want to see where did it come from? 485, I think, because it has broken this support of 483. So want to see if it's going to continue to 483. If it rejects 483, creates a higher low, then it wants to go back up. But only has 2 lower lows. When decision is made, you can swing. A decision has been made. I will keep reminding you guys, a decision has been made. You have a decision. Okay? So Lulu, Alta, Etsy, a decision was made long time ago. Give me a second. So sorry about that. ITSI, we had this indecision here, went up. Then we had 3 days of indecision. So we wanted the first candle that decided to break this range. So we had it going up to this and that. You want the first candle that makes a decision. This made a decision. The second day, we had continuation. So this has been trending down. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6. It's been going down. It made a decision here. So we know this. This was a post-year from November 1st. It wasn't so beautiful. It was just going up, consolidation, going up, consolidation, going up. Not beautiful, as we've seen other stocks. Okay. So now we already have 6 days of pullback. So we want to see, this is a stock to watch. Why? Because it has given us 6 days. Pullback can be 3 to 6 days. This is 6 days. We want to see today if it will do an inside bar, then that will make our interest. We want to see if it wants to go back up, or it will continue day 7, day 8, day 9. That's no longer a pullback because it broke this support. So now we are looking at this support here, 69. It's at 79. So that's the level to watch for. If it's going to 69 and lower, or will it want to go back up? So it barely broke our key level, is usually 85. 85 is the key level for ITSI, but it created a lower high. It came from 102, just went to 89. So it didn't even touch 100. So this was a lower high. Always have a point of reference for a level. You know it's a lower high. Why? It came from 102. It didn't go back to 102. It's a lower high. It consolidated before, maybe you would say, okay, it's making up its mind. It made a decision. It's been trending down for 6 days. Okay. HD. Okay. We were trending very, very beautiful. You can't compare this to ITSI. So this was just going up post-ER. Going from November 14th to November 18th. Over a month, it was just trending up. Then we have indecision. I told you guys, where there's indecision, that's where you want any stock doing this. That's where you want to be, because you're waiting for it to decide. When it decides, you have a move. Okay. So it decided, then constricted, inside bar. Then we got this move. So the second lower low. So this was still consolidation. This is the candle that made a decision on Friday. Friday, most stocks, the decision was made on Friday. Okay, then we had an inside bar. When you see this, that's the stock to trade, because somebody is like shocked. Hi, this stock was bullish. We are writing it down. Then we have this indecision, candle, an inside bar, constriction. Then we followed by this. So this one we have the first lower low, the second lower low, an inside bar, then the third one. So Netflix and Mera, this is why I'm saying put them at the top, because they have the same thing here. The first lower low, the second lower low, inside bar. We want to see what happens today. Will it go up or will it continue down? So this was yesterday. So this is where it created an inside bar. The same thing that happened to Netflix, went up and then came down. So we want to see if it will do, Netflix and Meta will do the same thing. Continue down, 336. Okay. Donna, what lesson? Tell us. We want to hear. What lesson is that? Donna, tell us.
I told him it looks like it's going down, and I got him. could yesterday, but I did doubt myself. But I said, no, this thing made a decision. It's bearish.
Right. You want a stock that make that first candle where a decision is made. That's where everything is. After that, it has made a decision. Even if we have a constriction, it already made up its mind. So it can be just the market is just shocked, or we don't want it to go down, but a decision was made and we go by the decision. So yeah, take those lessons because they'll make you money. Okay, Leroy, I hope you're listening. She's mentioning you. Okay, so for HD, it made a decision. So out of this, we already have the first lower low, the second lower low, an inside bar, and then the third lower low. Okay, so we know it filled this gap. So let's go to 4 hour and see where the previous support is. It has a long way. Came from 308. Ooh, that's far. So here you're using those 50% I talked about yesterday. If you want to see the levels, use the 50% or use the CPR. This one has a monthly median. Okay, it rejected S2. So 335, 330. So now you see this one had a bullish. So had a bullish. Look at the CPR, bullish from all the way here, higher, low, higher, low, higher, low, until this week, it is going sideways. So some of this, when the CPR is going sideways, you might not get the best move out of it because it's undecided where it wants to go. You wanna either it continues up or the next week it is lower, then it means this stock is going down. But still, it was a good trade. It made up its mind after this indecision. Okay. Then FedEx. That's all I consider them. I know this is transportation, but it's not been making moves post-ER. So it dropped post-ER. So it has still not, we had this indecision and it has gone, we needed to break below 244. So it has made up its mind from this consolidation post-ER. So this was the drop. Then it came here barely breaking inside bar. Then indecision, 1, 2, 3, 4 days of indecision. So it broke yesterday. It broke, made a decision, this consolidation. But for this, I want it to break this, to have a clear confirmation. 244, it's at 247. So it has made a decision. Okay. We want to see what happens today. So we have two lower lows after this indecision. We have the first one, the second one. So this is still a post-ER. We are looking at the post-ER support, or if it breaks this 255. I told you guys last week, 255 is a key level. If it's not breaking 255, get puts. Get puts, get puts, get puts. Because it's a key level from 255, 265, 275. That's how it moves. Okay, UPS. Okay, so it was trending up together with FedEx. This one was post-ER, it reported earnings. Now you're seeing what is happening to FedEx. It's in this phase where after this drop, it went up for the pullback, indecision, came down, first candle, second lower low, inside bar. That inside bar that's where the money is. Then we had this Still, we didn't, oh, this was our decision because our consolidation was here. Even if it's by $1, it's a decision. Made a decision. Then bullish, went up, consolidation, continued. When it starts doing this, just know this one is no longer the beautiful chart. Indecision, made a decision, triple, top, pullback, indecision. So UPS, we want a decision, no decision yet. So this is, we're looking at this 159, 160, and 155. The first candle that makes a decision, if it's breaking 155 or it's breaking 160, the first candle that makes a decision, go with that. It has made a decision. Okay. I'm going to look at the last one. There's so many retail, but McDonald's, my goodness. Hey, this 300 is like Apple 200. We waited for Apple to hit 200 for I don't know how many years. McDonald's 300. 298. My goodness, really? So same, we had this 298, 298, then barely went 299, 299. So we are back again, 298. So look at it. I don't know if we're gonna see 300. If it's not going to 300, just get puts, because how many attempts are these? First attempt, second time, you'd think would break it, but no, nothing. But look at it. Okay, so that 300 is a key level. It's not broken it. Since we were trading this with you guys who are with me from April, it was just going up, 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 rejected, pullback 280, went up, second time rejected, broke 280. When we were bearish, August, September, 245, went back up, post ER, the same level. Okay, so what I see, I don't know. Warren Buffett is the culprit. He's in love with this stock. I don't know if it's gonna want, maybe it's the one buying, or I don't know. I don't know. 300, Apple 200. Okay, any questions? So that's it for retail. If I've forgotten any, Burlington was supposed to hit 200. It didn't. 198. Okay, we know it came from far, 239. So this was still a lower high. It only has one lower low, two. First lower low, second lower low. So it was post ER, beautiful range, then barely breaking, broke this, consolidation, broke it, barely. This is where you know our stock is approaching the top. The upthrust is no longer those big ranges. First lower low, second lower low. So will it make the third lower low? Okay. Our DE, if it's not going to 4 or 8, somebody was asking me, so we needed it to break 404. I know it has some couple of in-between levels, 404, 408, 4. What's the level? 4. I always confuse DE and something else. 4, 418, 412? I have no idea. But it didn't go to 408. Get puts. It's very, very sensitive to those levels. What is the level? Ah, 404. So it was key for it to be above 404, but the next one is 408. 4. I'll type there in the, I know in the chat I'll find those levels, but because it rejected 408, came down. So it has broke support. We only have first lower low. So we're still looking at it. Here, made a decision. The second day is the beautiful. Please don't miss the second day after decision. Do you see after that? Inside bar, inside bar. Even if you're seeing two inside bar, you're trading calls. A decision was made, you're trading calls. Kwaherini. Where is Del or Don? Sign us off. So Meta, Netflix, Spy broke 468. I know the level is 467, but that 468 was defended so much yesterday. So we have two lower lows now. Okay, I know it may not feel it, but that's two lower lows. It broke support. So will it create a third lower low? It doesn't even, that 468, ugh, it didn't even break it. 468.17. It's a very strong support. I know it's not a level to worry about, but now it seems we have to worry about it. It was defended the whole day yesterday. Okay, but QQQ hit, the level is 397. We talked about it yesterday. This one is beautiful. So 397, and it is breaking it. So if you're seeing a level, it is approaching a key level, it's probably going to go lower. The next level is 393. If it rejects 393, it wants to go back up. From 393, 397. 397, 400. Breaks 393, 388. Very simple levels for scalping. Okay. So yesterday we were supposed to be bearish. Whether we are having these, we were supposed to be bearish. It wasn't as beautiful, but that's it. We got it. So we're still looking at semiconductors. I'm not looking at them. Today I was talking about retail, and I want to mention those tech stocks. Okay. Apple is our litmus. Always look at Apple. If Apple is weak, the market is weak. So we still didn't hit 200, 199. In decision, made a decision. First lower low, second, barely. In decision, made a decision. We have like a double bottom. Okay, so Apple 175. The minute it breaks 180, 175, 165. The minute Apple is below 165, 170, it's weak. The minute is below 170 is usually weak. It always goes to 165. If it holds above 170, we are probably safe. But that's what it is. It has a double bottom. Okay, we'll see what the market has for us today. Any questions? If no questions, Dale or Dawn can sign us off.
Let's make this money, guys.
Let's make this money. I hope my voice will be singing in your head. A decision, a decision. Always remember that. Thank you.